What is up, everyone? It is Nico and Tami here. And Tami, you're the first person I would have on a second time on this show. So it's like a first second. It's a first prize for second attending. Anyway, it's fun. We're going crazy here on this live. It's a Thursday. We both worked out before, and we probably have our fair share of coffee. And so I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, well, I'm so shocked. You didn't tell me beforehand that I was the first person to be on a repeat time. So I feel really lucky. Thank you.
I gotta keep a little surprised, right? Like you gotta get that authentic, we talk authentic like reactions all the time. So I gotta do that for the audience, right?
Yeah.
So I want to start this off with a interesting thing you told me maybe 35 seconds ago about something that you did on April 2nd.
Yeah, so Find Your Influence. We're an influencer marketing company. We surveyed about 380 social media influencers, asking them a variety of questions about how they've been impacted by COVID-19. And it was really surprising to see that 86% of them said that their engagement rates have gone up. So what that means, Nico, is more people are either liking their posts, they are commenting on their posts, maybe they're even sending direct messages to have conversations about it. But so many of us have so much time. We don't have that commute to the office anymore. And, we're not able to go to the gym. And so many of our, routines have been upended that a lot of us are spending a lot more time just scrolling and scrolling. And when you have those authentic connections on whether it's Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or any social platform, you now have more time to say, oh, wow, Nico, I love this post. Tell me your perspective about this, or how did this work for you? Or, so the engagement rates are really up. So now is really a prime time for advertisers to be leaning into influencer marketing.
And that's that's exactly why I wanted to talk about this, because I think so many businesses, and I'm seeing this across the board, are spending less and less time on planning their long-term marketing strategy, because there's so much going on. They're not actually marketing because they want to keep their costs low and whatnot. So what would one of your pieces of advice be? It could be influencer related or marketing in general. First off, do you think this is a good time to invest in advertisement in marketing?
Well, I definitely think it's a good time to invest, but invest wisely. And so what we saw on the influencer side, and I think a lot of advertising in general, probably even a lot of digital ad buys in the, mid-March, when we were all trying to figure this out. And granted, we're all still trying to figure this out. And there's so many unknowns and uncertainties right now, but it's all about getting the messaging right and the tone right. If you show up as tone deaf, that is going to be a sticking point to your reputation and be a deep hole for you to dig yourself out of post-COVID. But what a lot of brands are doing now is leaning into, how can we give back? How can part of the proceeds that we earn from product X give back to a COVID charity or the Red Cross or a nurses association or supporting hospitals or anyone in need, really? There's so many people impacted. But I was just reading the other day that, ad buys are down, the pricing is down, and the price is only going to go back up. So if you're spending that money now, I don't want to say you're locked into that pricing, but you're not going to be priced out later on down the road.
Yeah, no. And the thing that I think fascinates me is there's so many different ways to go about it, because there's traditional, running ads, but there's also partnerships. I want to talk a lot more about that, because the more and more I study influencer marketing and the more conversations we have, the more I see that this is a lot more of a partnership than a one-time, I'm going to give you $1,500 to help promote my product line or my mission. Can you talk about how businesses should start thinking about that collaborative, nature with influencers specifically?
Yeah, so I'm going to give an example. We represent Jane Co. on her blog and Instagram and everywhere online. She's known as A Taste of Cocoa. She's based in Austin, Texas. She's a food blogger. She also does a little traveling too. But now that restaurants are shut down, in that first week, I'm sure Jane was like, what am I going to do? There's, I can't go out to restaurants and create my content. But then she quickly realized how many restaurant service workers and bartenders were now out of work. So she said, I want these restaurants to be here to survive through this pandemic. What can I do to help? So she started, I'm not sure if it was on Kickstarter, so don't quote me, but she started to raise money and she was calling it 100 for hospitality. I think she was only trying to raise like X hundred number of dollars at a certain time to feed these out of work service workers in Austin. And so Jane pivoted all of her energy to that. She's not earning an income on that. She's just doing good. She's ensuring that those businesses in her community are there when we come through this. And I think she's close to right now having raised $15,000. She has been selling things of her own online and giving all of the proceeds to it. She's partnering with other creators, other designers. I think she partnered, well, I know she partnered with a jewelry line because I saw her promoting it. And I was like, oh, I love those earrings. And 50% of the proceeds go to support 100 for hospitality. So I was on board with that. But, in that perspective, Jane, she's a brand herself. Yes, she's an influencer, but she pivoted her brand to say, if I want my brand to continue after this, I need to give back. I need to do this. And it's really, it wasn't her intent was to feed these people and make sure they weren't having to spend money. They could pay their rent, they could pay their car bills, they could pay insurance. She just wanted to make sure that food wasn't an issue for them. And so pivoting to that philanthropic mindset has generated press for her. She has worked with Adobe before as like a creative partner years and years ago. They featured her yesterday on their LinkedIn page, on their Instagram page for all that she's doing right now. And that's a byproduct of this. She didn't set out to get all this coverage, all of this, but it's really showing her authentic and true self and her heart, really. Yeah. And that support is being seen well beyond the Austin community.
Yeah, and that actually leads perfectly to my next question is especially now, how do you stay authentic? So for her, in a sense, this makes total sense because this is the community that she's a part of. She saw that they were, suffering, and they definitely are. I mean, restaurants are not doing too hot right now. So how do you as a brand or as a company remain authentic? Because I think we all deeply want to give back, but how do we make sure that it's not just to get press?
Yeah. And so what I would say here, because I was thinking about this last week and I was thinking, okay, FYI, Find Your Influence, we're a business. How are we doing this? How are we staying authentic? And what we're doing is we're really leaning into our core values, and that's driving our business decisions. But that has always driven our business decisions and our conversations and how we treat one another. And so, if a company has clearly defined core values, how can you lean into those core values, assuming they aren't all like revenue, you know what I mean? As long as they are, about being helpful and supportive and being true and giving back. I think really lean in there, understand that being vulnerable, it makes us all human, right? If I were to sit here and say, oh, man, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills, or, if I was furloughed or laid off, being authentic and really talking to the camera and sharing what that means to you and how you're impacted, you're touching someone. And so I've seen some advertisements on TV. I think Volkswagen was saying, if you've recently purchased a car and lost your job, reach out to us. We want to defer payments for up to 180 days. They're not selling a car in that ad. They're selling the human side of things. They know that we're all in difficult positions. I got an email from my bank saying if I was having any sort of financial troubles right now, if I lost my job, I could defer my car payment for 90 days. Now they took it out at the end. They told me it wouldn't affect my credit score. There wouldn't be any late payments. Fortunately, knock on wood, I didn't have to take them up on that offer at this point, but that was just a message of kindness. I don't know if my bank has done any digital ads or TV ads or any other ads around that, but how they reached me in that human way of saying, we know you could be impacted. Here's how we want to help you. The world is looking for helpers right now. How can your brand be that helper?
Absolutely. No, and I love it. And it's interesting because it's happening really quickly. And I think a lot of the brands who are able to pivot understand the truth behind why they're in business, the people that they're impacting. Right. So it becomes easier. So I actually do want to talk about something that's a little different, because we had a call, I think last week or the week before that. One of those. Every day. As long as we're talking, that's all that matters. But you guys at Find Your Influence did something very interesting, which basically you had Mondays and Fridays at work from home,
Yep.
and now we're all working from home. And you mentioned that something interesting was happening with definitely we're gonna have a guest in like 2 seconds with this cat. But anyway, you mentioned that there's been talk within leadership, especially at the company, that this might be something that is long term. It's working remote. So I want to talk about how working remote has impacted your day, because frankly, it's challenging to adjust, but after a while, it becomes a lot easier. For me, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, so we had the option to work from home every Monday and Friday. I took advantage of working from home on Mondays, but my team and I went in. There was like 4 of us. We would go in on Fridays, super collaborative. We had the office to ourselves. It felt like an all-day team meeting. It wasn't mandatory. I just said, hey, I'm going to go in if you'd like to come in too, and they were coming in. And so working from home was, for me, was just Mondays, and I would work from home in my home office. Well, now that we've had these stay-at-home orders, for the first week, I was working in my home office every day. Every day felt like Monday, though, and I didn't love that. So the following week, I said, I'm going to set up my office. I'm going to set up my workstation in a different place in the house. Today, I'm in the living room. You can see the couch behind me and the windows. Tomorrow, I might be in the kitchen. Mondays, I sit in my home office. Mondays, up at the home office. That's my normal, because I know we're going to return to a normal one day. Mondays are the home office. I might be sitting on my back patio working, but I'm trying to give myself a change of scenery so every day doesn't feel like Monday to me. But I do have to say, I've recently this week set boundaries for myself, because in pre-COVID life, I would leave home at 7:30, make that hour drive to work, and begin my day at 8:30. I would leave work at 4 to begin the hour drive home, and then check in on my phone when I got home. Well, what I had been doing for the last, this is week 5. I had to check my notepad. This is week 5 that I've been home. For the first 4 weeks at 7:30, I would log on and just get my day started. And then I would work until 5. And that's great that I was putting in all that time, that I have so much to do. But by midday Thursday, I was like, and I'm done. Like, I was just out of gas. And so I said, okay, I might be ready to work at 7:30, but I'm not going to start work until 8:30. And I might have plenty of work to keep going after 4, but I'm going to stop at 4. And by stop, I mean, I'm going to just power my laptop down, and I'll still check my phone. I'm still available, but it was a boundary that I needed to set for myself, because I was pushing myself harder than anyone needed me to push myself. So that's really how it took me 4 weeks to get to that point, but that's where I am today.
It's interesting, because I think I felt the same way. So usually my checkoff is at 6 officially. Then I'm like, that's my time. But it's been very easy to just say, oh, let me just check the email really quick, and then you see, oh, I can finish this task really quickly. So I totally understand. For you, how have you been able to not work with the isolation, but really, digitally connected with your employees and whatnot? But how have you been able to keep some of that daily, creative juices going? Because so for me, like, I have some of my best ideas when I'm driving.
Yeah.
How's creative life been for you?
My best ideas come when I'm directly applying heat to my head. So if I blow dry my hair every day, I know it sounds so silly, but like, my ideas come to me when I'm blow drying. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I shower and blow dry my hair every weekday. But collaborating with the team, we use Microsoft Teams, and we've used Zoom a few times. So if I need to talk to a colleague, I could call them. I could even call them through Teams, but I'm going to video call them, because I want to have that connection, like looking in their eyes like I would in the office. That's what I need. I don't know if it's what they need, but it's what I need to take it. And our team is, every week we've done a virtual happy hour where we all get on Zoom, because it's easier to see all the faces on Zoom. We do a happy hour, and we just catch up on how everybody's feeling and what's going on and what's everybody drinking, what's the cocktail of the hour. And then one of my teammates, Sarah, she also is a yoga teacher, and her yoga studio has been closed down. So once a week, she's doing an optional team yoga for everybody via Zoom or Teams. And it's really fun. It took us a week for her to say, hey, if you want to close your camera so not everybody has to see what you're doing. class. I might not have the best yoga form, but no, we've been fortunate that I've felt connected to everyone. And then I live in Gilbert and our office is in Scottsdale, and a colleague of mine lives in Chandler. And I reached out to her on Monday and I said, I feel like I need to see your face. So yesterday we did what I'm calling a parking lot lunch. We went to a big church parking lot that was wide open. She backed her car in. I backed my car in. She like opened the latch of her trunk of her SUV and she sat in there and ate her lunch. And I brought a camping chair and sat behind my car and ate my lunch. And it was like we were going out to lunch together, but we were definitely, we were probably 15 to 20 feet apart, but it was still a connection that I needed. And, got to give her like a big virtual hug from across the parking lot, but it was nice to see a face that wasn't my husband or son.
I think as both extroverts, sometimes you just need that, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's even if it's just going for a walk, listening to my podcast. Podcasting has been the one, and we talked about that. Is the one thing I miss so much because that's where I get most of my information about what's happening in the world. That's not necessarily marketing related because the rest of my day is marketing. So and just being able to see people is so important. This question popped in my head. How do you think, especially moving forward, this is going to impact us? Because we briefly talked about it, but I think both on the work from home life and how we're actually on our phones a lot more. How do you think it's going to be moving forward? It could be answer any way you want. I'm just curious on your take on.
My take is that I don't know. There's so much uncertainty and so much unknown. I don't want to get into prediction business. I'm limiting how much news I consume each day. I'm not watching news. I'm choosing what I read and what I take in. I'm not saying that I'm sticking my head in the sand and ignoring it. But my superpower right now is just staying home and doing what I can, what I'm told by our governor to do. And speculating isn't something that I want to do because I don't like getting my hopes up only to be let down. Certainly that we come out of this, stronger than ever, obviously more informed than we were before. So, and definitely with more kindness and empathy towards one another. It's really what I'm hoping for.
That's great. Yeah, no, I just hope we become more human after this because I think that sheds light on what's really a problem, what's not. So I was watching our live that we did. I think it was 2.5 months ago. And one thing I like to ask my guests is very tangible questions. And we got very philosophical, and like it was great, and I needed it because it got me down the rabbit hole. But as I've been researching, there's so much out there about influencer marketing, and I wanted to actually ask, what's your favorite, resource that you say that you think a majority of people should be reading, listening to, watching to really understand how influencer marketing is impacting businesses? Because like your blog's been fantastic. The Find Your Influence blog's been great. But I'm one of those people where I'm like, I need a book. I need something that I can become an expert in because I researched it or whatever. So.
Well, I wouldn't say there's one place that I go to. I go to so many different places to read up on it. There is Ad Age, Ad Week, socialmediatoday.com does a good job covering it. There's one called talkinginfluence.com. So I haven't even dug into my emails yet, but every morning I have between like 18 and 20 news roundups sent my way. So I spend the first hour to hour and a half reading everything and trying to dig and find, the latest that I can about influencers. I did read, and I don't know the source because I've been reading so much, but I did read that Instagram lives are like through the roof now. Like so many people are going live on Instagram. So not just the in-feed post, not just an Instagram story, but like join my live, like you're doing right here on LinkedIn, right? They're promoting their Instagram lives. And so at any point, if there's somebody you want to follow or somebody you're interested in and want to see them live and interact and ask questions with them, that is really up right now more than ever before, as Facebook lives as well too.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry, that wasn't a clear answer to your question.
No, but it's good because I think I think regardless of the platform, human behavior is very similar between platforms. I've seen that too. The amount of lives I've seen on LinkedIn notifications pop up is incredible. Um, and it's something I want people to pay attention to because, especially now, having a conversation like this, even if someone just pops in for a minute, you feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people are gravitating towards it. Um, have you have you overcome the fear of being live? So right now you're looking into a camera. We're having a great conversation, but it can be intimidating, frankly, to be on live.
Yeah, I would say that I have, throughout my career, I've gone through media training. I've been a spokesperson for several different companies. So I've had the training to do it and be comfortable doing it. Um, I don't, I think as long as, for anybody who hasn't had media training to be comfortable going live, just know that your message is really going to impact at least one person watching you. Someone needs to hear that message. That's why it's important. So don't worry about like, how does my hair look? What am I wearing? My roots aren't done. Like, don't worry about that stuff. People are there for the message. If someone's there trying to analyze you and pick you apart, they're not there for the right reasons. And I can't remember the last time I watched a live or an interview or anything where I tried to pick apart the expert or whoever was on camera. And a lot of times too, what got me through kind of that stage fright, if you will, when I was doing live on television interviews, like I've been on Anderson Cooper's when he had a talk show. So I was interviewed by Anderson Cooper, and like that was a little bit overwhelming walking into that situation. But I knew he honestly doesn't know the answers to my questions. That's why he's having me on. He's having me on as the expert. So as long as I'm confident in the information that I'm presenting, that's what it's all about. He's not having me on to like dupe me, to say, oh, you got that wrong, or to like upend me and like throw me off track. The interviewer, like you today, Nico, you honestly don't know the answers to my questions. That's why you're asking, because you're interested in informing your audience. So just walk into a live or any interview saying, I'm here to answer the questions to the best of my ability and to be able to educate and inform.
It's great. I don't want to say it's easy. By no means is it easy, but it's the last couple of days I've been really trying to figure out how do I become much more. I pride myself, and I've seen it with you as well, to give very tangible advice. Like, how do you do X? And what I'm telling people is going live is very similar to reaching out and sending a private direct message to someone, right? It's scary, but the truth is, if that person doesn't respond, if people don't like your lives, it's okay, because eventually you'll get someone that does. I mean, this whole conversation became real because we jumped on a phone call, and that became real because we exchanged direct messages with each other. And I get it's a fear thing, but it's just, I think, getting the at bat, and really right now is the best time because so many people are on their phones and online. So we're getting towards the tail end of the conversation, which is really sad. It makes me sad every time, but I know that it's not a goodbye. It's we'll see you later.
See you in 2 months. Let's do it again.
I can't wait until we get to hang out. Especially, I want to go to that group that you put together, which we'll have to make some content there. But this is the soapbox part of the show, where you could get on a soapbox and preach one thing. It could be influencer, it could be live, it could be anything. What would what you talk about?
I think I might have said it last time, so forgive me if this is a duplicate. No. I would always say advice in life is to always be yourself. You were saying before, if someone's not watching this or they don't enjoy it, this isn't for everyone. I'm not for everyone. You're not for everyone. But be yourself. Don't try to be what everyone else wants. Be yourself, because someone needs to see that. And that's advice that I give my 15-year-old son. I mean, he takes it or leaves it. I just keep repeating it over and over again. But always be yourself. Don't, if there's this person in your life and you're like, oh, I want to be friends with her, but don't change who you are just to be friends with that person. Be yourself. That will help you in the long run with employment opportunities, with trust with your following, all of that. in the moment you're not yourself, your real friends better call you out on it.
It's, I, it's the most basic advice I think is the most powerful, right? Because it's true. Like, you're not for everyone, I'm not for everyone, and that's why there are specific micro and macro niche influencers. Is because I might like this person because they have this much energy, but I don't like this person because they, say that word. But anyway, it's so true. I couldn't emphasize it anymore. Um, find your influence. You guys are still crushing it. You're still doing amazing work there. I am going to throw the URL again in there, but this is the plug part. What can we in the community do to help support you? Find your influence. Where can people reach out if they have more questions?
Yeah, if you are a creator and influencer and you want to work with brands, visit findyourinfluence.com. Upper right-hand corner, you would click on the influencer tab, and then you can sign up and join our platform. And then brands and agencies representing brands can find you and hopefully work with you. If you're a brand, a small business, a large business, it doesn't matter your business size. Any business can do influencer marketing on any budget. The smaller budget, they're still going to see they're still going to see results. They're just going to be on a smaller scale. Large businesses with larger budgets are going to see larger results because of the investment that they're making. And so if you're a brand that would like to try influencer marketing, let us know. Go to that same website, findyourinfluence.com, and then request a demo. Let us show you how it could work for you. We are priced for small businesses, we're priced for agencies, and we've, since 2013, I believe, I'm going to round up on the numbers to be fair, but not by I think we executed about 13,000 influencer campaigns with about 700 brands, 700 different brands. So brands of all shapes and sizes. We have the data to show how it works. We can if we're going to execute the campaign for you on our managed services side, we're going to guarantee the results. We're going to say, hey, if this is what you're spending and this is what your outcome is looking to be, we're going to find the right influencers and the right way to get the deliverables for you that you're looking for. So request a demo today. Let us know how we can help.
That's awesome. I mean, I actually do have a question for in regards to that. The so many people see demos, because I've been in a ton of demos. And one thing we actually have mentioned before is Tami and the team aren't here to give you something that they don't think can actually help. Right. And that's what I want to really push is, especially when I bring in people like this.
Yeah.
I've seen what I've seen the tits and pieces. I should probably request a demo from one of the brands we're working with, but I just need to emphasize that this isn't a hard sell. Like these type of these, especially with influence, you have to know you can help someone. And like you said, it's guaranteed. So anyway, Tami, appreciate you for being on. Thank you so much again. We'll chat a couple minutes after, but thank you for being the second guest on the Nico Live experience.
My goal is to be the third guest.
Well, we will have a follow-up, because I think next time maybe we'll do something interesting where we'll talk about it. But I can see something interesting because you guys have there's so much. There's maybe, and we're doing this live, so tell me if this is crazy. But maybe we do a presentation style. I mean, maybe I'm not a fan of webinars, but like something more interactive than a webinar. Let's break down influencers and do something.
Yeah, or I could even get an influencer to join us. I don't know if you can have 3 people on here.
Or we can have up to 6 people in here.
Awesome. That might be fun to get an influencer on here, and we can both start peppering him or her with questions.
You know what? That's so here. This is a little call to action, and people are probably like, Nico, get it. Like, but anyway, if you have a favorite, let's do this. If you have a favorite industry, or you particularly subscribe to a type of influencer, a specific influencer, because we gotta have some say in this too. But if you have a specific industry or type of person you want, link it down below. Comment in here, and I'll get those results to Tami. We'll find some. That would be so fun. That would be something completely different. So that's excellent.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me again.
Of course. And now I'm excited now it's live, so we got to do something again. So I'll end it here. We'll chat for a couple minutes, but thank you so much for being on again.
All right. Thanks, Nico. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Bye, guys.